Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. A couple of weeks ago I reached out on my Instagram to see if you have any questions regarding life and work and so on. And some really interesting came in, so let's join me on this Q&A. Grab yourself a tea or coffee and let's start. So let's start with the first one, and that's how's life. And in general, it's really good. I can't complain, and my health is good. And yeah, I'm happy. And there have been quite a lot of changes last year. And we went to this amazing trip to Iceland, which was so good, and I filmed a lot. And I'm so happy that I put this all together into a video. And in August, when we got back, we picked up our puppy Odin, who's sleeping over there. We picked him up, and since then everything kind of changed because suddenly we had this puppy in our life that needed, it felt like he needed 24/7 attention. And the first days were really exhausting. I went out in the night maybe 3 times. Every 2 hours I went out to pee with him, and it's just so much fun. He brings so much joy into our lives, in our everyday lives, and yeah, I can't wait to take him on a trip again. And last year we took him also to Lofoten in autumn, and he loved the whole van life thing. He loved hanging out on the beaches, going up mountains. I carried him in my backpack because at this time he was too young to hike and walk over stones and difficult terrain, and yeah, he really loved it. So I'm really excited to bring him up north this year. And yeah, what else happened? Well, something big as well. I'm a married man now. Natasha and I married in February this year, and it was so nice, like a super small group and just family, and it was so chill and so relaxed. And yeah, the next question is, what are your most memorable trips that you cherish most of the time? And it's a difficult question because there have been so many trips in the last 4 or 5 years, and usually what makes these trips special is the people I'm with. I love being with friends. I love meeting new people who have the same spirit, and they can make a trip so much better, even if it's 24/7 rain or storm or whatever. As long as you're sticking around with the good people, it will be an amazing trip for sure. But to nail down on 3, first one I would say is the trip to Norway I had in 2019 when we got our van for the first time, and everything was so new. We suddenly were part of this van life, and we could sleep wherever we want and just park on the trailhead, hike mountains in midnight, and don't care about accommodations and how to get from A to B. So that was super exciting, and we had so good weather, and sun was shining throughout the whole day, and in the night we had this magical midnight. And yeah, it was just a good time. I took so many shots, and I filmed my first small super short travel video. And yeah, second trip I love to remember is the trip to Bolivia and Peru, which I've done with Olympus and 3 friends. And this trip was amazing because it was a challenge for our bodies and for the soul, because we went up to 5,500 meters within 2 days, and we went hiking the Wash track. An absolute experience because 8 days trekking in the Andes, and you're constantly above 4,000 meter and even go up to 5,500, and your body is just so tired. And we all suffered from altitude sickness, some more, some less. But apart from that, the landscape in Bolivia is something I've never seen before. For example, the salt desert, Uyuni, I think it's called. It was just incredible, just mind-blowing, and you feel like you've been on an alien planet. It was just amazing. And I will link a video below in the description from Toby. He was a filmer on this trip, and I think he captured the vibe of this trip really good. The third trip that I would say is the recent Iceland trip in 2021. It was just so chill and so extremely exciting because there was this volcano. We went on a sail to the northernmost island, and the weather was just amazing everywhere we went. And just the whole vibe of this trip was great. And it was my first time filming something more seriously. So I was really happy when I came home with like a terabyte of footage, and I was at first a bit overwhelmed, and I had to spend the next few months just thinking of how to arrange them into a video, which was quite desperate sometimes because, I had no idea where to start. And one day I was sleeping and I woke up and had this idea, and I ran to the office and just wrote it down, and from then I started cutting, and I got together like 3 episodes of each 15 minutes. And yeah, I'm super proud of myself that I was able to like complete this. That makes the trip also so special. But apart from that, we met so many good friends and so many new people, and we just had a damn good time in Iceland. Let's go to the next question, and this is, what is your favorite location and why? And to be honest, this is a tough question. Did you hear Odin snore in the back? He's like full gun. Yeah, what is your favorite location and why? And it's always hard to nail on one place because, as I said, usually it's a whole trip, the friends, the people you're with that shape the memory of this trip. But if I have to just look to a location, I would say it's Norway, and especially the Lofoten areas, because this area is just, I don't know, it's hard to describe. I just drive there and it somehow feels like coming home, It just feels good being there, and I love the landscape, I love the people, I got a lot of local friends there. I would say it's Lofoten. Next question is also a really good one, and it's, if money wouldn't be a factor, which journey would you make? I was thinking about this question for a while because I wouldn't change my style of traveling. Like, I wouldn't go on a luxurious trips still if I have unlimited money, but I would just probably spend a lot of time in one place, like being in the Himalayas for months, and go to New Zealand for a year and to Canada for a year, and just settle down more instead of just rushing through a country in weeks. Yeah, but if money wouldn't be a factor at all, and maybe science wouldn't be a factor, I would go to the moon and beyond. The universe is something I'm really interested in, and I'm really curious how far we will go one day if we don't destroy ourselves before. But yeah, travel plans for this year. So we actually plan to leave for Scandinavia next week, but a quite spontaneous inquiry came in, and so we are going to Greenland on a sail for 10 days along the east coast of Greenland. And after that, when we come home, we try to pack our stuff within 1 week and then head for Sweden, Norway, Finland, and we will probably spend the rest of the year in Scandinavia and just take it easy, do some projects, and just soak in the country. And that leads us to the next question. Ever considered a hut or a home in Norway? And actually, yes, a lot of times. And this year, since we have so much time, we actually want to look into this more specifically. The next one is really an interesting question, and I think it's what we all feel at some point. Ever had times you lost interests in your passions? If so, what helped you reignite that love to create? How do you refresh your passion for it? To be honest, I actually lost interest a couple of times. Because you're kind of in this circle, you're running around in this circle of creating, and you have to always be better than before to keep up with the Instagram algorithm. And this is really tiring, and I think many people are losing their creative way. It's just about producing and creating and, do like this method just on different spots and always have the same picture, but nothing particularly new. So when this happens to me and I feel like I'm stuck, I always try to new things. For example, 2 years ago, I started to look into filming, and filming in general changed the way I was thinking in photography, because to create a movie, you have to concentrate on the moments in between. So you're not going to place ABC and shoot bangers, because a movie would look like nothing with this. So you have to build up a story, and you have to capture the moments in between, maybe the not so photogenic moments. And this is what I learned in photography as well. So I started photographing more and more normal stuff, or just spontaneous shots. And I don't know how to say, but this really helped me to gain back the passion that I once had for photography. What is your favorite part about being a photographer? Well, it's the fact that I meet so many people, and friendships started to build, and all the people they have the same spirit, they are following the same passion. Next question is, did you reach your level of photographer you want to be? And well, I'm not sure, because I won't probably ever reach this level, because I have never set any goals, or at least of course I try to develop myself, but I'm not sure if there's a goal where you say, okay, I'm done. Now I'm the best photographer. I think no one will ever say that, and people who say that, they're definitely not the best photographers. So I think the whole photography, or the whole creative process, is a lifelong journey, because we have to adopt to new things, we have to learn new techniques, and if you don't do that, you're just left behind. So I didn't reach this level, but I'm happy. I'm happy with my work and what I do, and I think that's the most important part. Do you have income outside Instagram, or is Instagram your main source of income? So most of my income comes from outside Instagram. I rarely do any sponsored posts, and this became less and less the more my account grew. So back in 2017 I was doing more sponsored posts than now, but back then I haven't generated any income from outside Instagram. So right now I'm doing like image licensing, working on big campaigns, or more recently being also in front of the camera and getting paid for that. So I have my income outside Instagram, and I also have a small portion coming not directly from Instagram, but from sponsored posts and sponsored stories and so on. So it's a healthy mix. All right, so now some photography related questions. And first one is, what was your first ever purchased camera? And that was a Canon 450D with a kit lens 18-55, and I'm not sure if I will find some photos from back in the old time, but if I find so, I will put them into this video as well. And next one is, do you focus stack? Tips for sharpness. I mean, general tips for sharpness is of course focus properly and use good optics, good camera. Focus stacking I have never tried, because I'm not a big fan of images that are throughout sharp. I like to have like layers from out of focus areas and focused areas. I never tried it, and I probably never will. Zoom or prime lens? For jobs and photo shoots that are quite spontaneous and I don't know the terrain where I'm going and I've never been to a location, I prefer to use zooms, because they give me much more flexibility, and I can adapt to situations super quick. And also for filming I prefer zooms, because I don't need to switch around lenses and just can concentrate on capturing the moments. But for personal work I only use primes, and I like going out with just a 35mm or 50mm and also film with that, so it depends always. Favorite camera and lens combo? It's the Canon R5 together with a 24-70 2.8 and the 35 1.8. I just love it. It just works, and image quality is outstanding, and the lenses are great, and yeah. Next question is, what is your favorite focal length? And I would say 35mm, because it's still kind of wide, but not as wide as a 24 on which I'm filming right now. And it's not as tight as the 50, for example. So 35mm is like great all-rounder. And now some personal stuff. You ask a lot of personal questions, which I like. How did Natasha and I meet? Well, we've known each other for probably 4 years now. Natasha used to work together with Hannes, and when there were like German Romas meeting, we kind of saw each other and did some talking, but never went into the process of like a real talk or something. And it was end of 2018, and we met at this German Romas event and kind of got into talking probably the whole night. And couple of days later, we went on our first date to Feldberg, Taunus, and from then developed like this. And yeah, now she's my wife. And how are you? What about your treatment in Moscow? Well, luckily I'm doing good. I don't have any other symptoms from multiple sclerosis since the last 3 years, so I'm quite stable, luckily. With the treatment, it's kind of difficult because first there was Corona and I couldn't enter the country, and you know, every year they gave me a new appointment, which was then postponed to another year because the infections didn't stop and the situation in Russia was really bad. Now this year it seemed to ease a bit, but then suddenly someone started a war, and now we have basically an Iron Curtain again. So I'm not sure when I will be able to go to Moscow for the treatment, and I'm not sure if it even will work out in the next 3 or 4 years. So let's just hope that there won't be any new symptoms, and I'm trying to live a healthy life and happy thinking, or a positive mind. It's probably the best for your soul you can do. Alright guys, that's it. And I really hope you enjoyed this small Q&A session here. So if you have any more questions or you want to have a question answered more detailed, just write it down in the comments and I'll take a look. And yeah, have a good one. And also, look who was watching me the whole time. It's my sleepy boy.